Hi everyone, thank you for joining us this afternoon to discuss regarding the Engineering and Manufacturing T-level for the Maintenance, Installation and Repair pathway. We've just got a couple of more attendees still joining us, so we will be starting shortly. For this webinar, we have included the presentation as a PDF. So on your screen, you should see something called handouts. If you go to the handout section, you'll be able to then download the copy of the presentation today as a PDF. So on to this webinar today, we are going to talk about the maintenance, installation, repair for engineering and manufacturing T-level, and just give you an high-level overview of the occupational specialisms and assessment within this sector. So the webinar today under the handout section that you can download as a PDF and record it as well. Girls for Engineering, and has been working with Professor, and also an engineer, but is our senior technical advisor now. So he's been looking after all us technical advisors. We've got Alison Whittle, our technical advisor for post-16 education. So Alison has been working closely with our HEIs and also progression from a T level. We've got Robert Stott, who are in industry manager for engineering and manufacturing. He can't be with us today, but again, he's been closely working with the employers regarding validation events of the material as well. And then we've also got the other industry manager, Scott Wilkins, who cannot be with us today. And he's also our industry manager, and he's been looking after the apprenticeship, endpoint assessment, and other qualifications that we look at. And as I said on the call, we have got Michael Scarrett from EAL, who works across the BSc pathways and engineering as well. And he's our product specialist. In addition to the call today, we've also got Duncan Baines. He's going to be talking to us regarding the T-level recruitment and other opportunities we do have when working at City and Girls, and he will be coming in at the end of the presentation. So we've got a fun pack agenda today, as you can see on the screen. So just going to be a bit overview of the T-level itself and the guided learning hours, and how to navigate to the maintenance, installation and repair pathway. We're then going to look at the occupational specialisms in more detail for mechanical, mechatronics, electrical electronics, control instrumentation and light and electric vehicles. And then right at the end, we're going to talk about how we support you and guide you. So events and webinars, approval processes, that opportunity to work for us, and the new engineering textbooks from Hodder Education that's going to be released in the autumn. So as you may well know, the engineering manufacturing T-level is split into two sections. So we've got the core and the occupational specialism. In this webinar, we're going to be talking about the occupational specialism only. So it is at 50% of the total qualification time, and it is at 680 guided learning hours. And it's also based on the occupational maps from the Institute. With the occupational specialism, we've got that practical skills and knowledge skills, and we're going to be assessing those practical skills via a synoptic assignment that we write at City and Girls. In addition to that, you've also got your industry placement, your tutorials, and now as part of a T-level, the T for Maths and English, it's not an exit requirement for a level 2, it's just that they have to be working towards the level 2 to get this funding. And then the last previous couple of webinars, we talked about the core itself, and that core is still at 50% of the total qualification time. And again, that is 680 guided learning hours. And that's assessed by 3 papers, Maths and Science and Engineering Concepts as examinations, and an employer set project for that occupational specialist area. So as previously said, 680 guided learners for the occupational specialism, and it goes across all 3 pathways within the engineering and manufacturing T-level. So in total, the T-level is around about 1,360 guided learning hours. We put it into a large T-level funding bracket, and it's just roughly just over that 3 A levels equivalent. So the engineering core component, we've got that full 17 elements to complete to that engineering core, and then we split into the pathways. And on this webinar today, we're going to look at the maintenance, installation, repair for engineering and manufacturing. So with the maintenance, installation, repair for manufacturing, we've got mechanical, mechatronics, electrical electronics, control instrumentation, and light and electric vehicles. And the learner was only studying one of those occupational specialisms. Our specifications are now, and through that PDF that you can download in our handout, these are interactive links, so you can click on that link and it will also take you directly to the site as well. And we're going to look at the maintenance, installation and repair pathway, and again click on that link down at the bottom and it's also interactive and take you directly to that from the presentation. So on the website navigation and our City and Guilds homepage, all you need to do at the top is type in the qualification code. For this one is 8712. Press search and then you'll get a tab that comes down at the bottom, which is regarding the T-level technical qualification in maintenance, installation, repair for engineering manufacturing. This will come up from the search engine, and all you need to do is click on the level 3 button, and this will then send you directly to our website. Alternatively, what you can do is navigate through our T-level homepage. So at the top of our website, you've got T-levels, and you do a drop-down list to providers. And again, that link there is hyperlinked, and it will take you directly to that website. When you click on T-level for providers, you then look up for engineering and manufacturing. Click on the link of engineering and manufacturing, and then you'll come to this second page where you've got the variety of different qualifications. And what we're going to be looking at, we're going to again click on that box for 8712, and that will take you to the maintenance, installation and repair for engineering and manufacturing. Information, once you specify directly from that site. What will be coming up shortly will be some guided sample assessment materials, some examples as well, and these will be available for you to download as well. But alternatively, you can also just click on that link down at the bottom and it'll take you directly to that page identified. What type of reams, CNCs, jigs, etc. And then for mechatronics, you're thinking about mechanisms and controllers, levers, ramps, valve blocks, gear trains, etc. These are all the information that was also identified in the occupational specialism in the practical section. So again, these are some of the types of assessments that will be coming through in future series. Diagnostic equipment. For light vehicle and repair, what we are expecting on that section is a vehicle workshop. So for the light and electric vehicles, you're going to need at least 2 different types of cars. So selection of diesel, hybrid and electrics that you can work on. You're also going to have some training rigs, such as transmission systems, chassis, electronics, etc. Components that the learner can take off and replace, such as the service parts. A vehicle workshop, lifting equipment, pneumatics and hydraulics. And then in addition to this specialism, you're also going to need area where you can do a bit of welding. So such as MIG, MAG, TIG, plasma cutting, brazing and soldering as well. And that is because within this specification, we have got a section regarding the welding tasks. And then also in addition to that, we've also got measurement and diagnostic tools such as multimeters, oscilloscopes, rolling. So for the assessment, hours across all, marked by yourselves and externally moderated. Got that core component right at the beginning, which is exam paper 1, which is going to be externally set for 2.5 hours long, marks 100, and same for exam paper 2. And then we've got that employer set project for maintenance, installation and repair pathway, which is an allocated hours of 12.5 hours. And again, that's going to be 90 marks. Those 3 papers together will give you an overall grade of A* to E. So just in summary, the Occupational Specialisms practical assignment is 90 marks. Its duration is 22 hours. It's externally set and internally marked by us, internally marked by yourselves, right, and externally moderated by sitting girls. It's a project brief, and it's a range of the individual tasks that are mapped to the performance outcome within that specification. We're going to go through that in a minute. And then we've got the mark schemes that reflects the individual performance and the banded marks. So from a threshold learner to a distinction learner grade. So within that performance outcome, you'll see on this slide here, we start at performance outcome 2 to 6. And that's because performance outcome 1 is round about the knowledge section. The weightings for each outcome is the same across each practical assignment and across each occupational specialism. And it's making this, you have 10% for PO2, 20% for PO3, 40% for PO4, which is that practical and that. And within the typical knowledge and skills section, that is the only section that you might notice will change in context. So in other words, instead of maintaining installation repair for mechanical and electronic systems, it'll say maintaining installation repair for control and instrumentation systems, and vice versa. So as you can see, the typical knowledge and skills and the performance outcome are the same, and it's just to making sure that the weighting is the same across all 5 areas. At the specifications for occupational specialism. And within that specification is externally set, internally marked and externally moderated. It tells you regarding maintenance and security of the live windows, the types of resources and equipment that you need to have in advance, and also what happens when a learner's fail as well. So it just gives you that overarching view of what their criteria is for the occupational specialism. So for maintenance engineering technologies in the mechanical section, we've got some bullet points there, some 5 bullet points that the learners need to know. So they're going to be analysing and interpreting requirements for mechanical engineering, maintenance, installation, repair, plan and prepare for mechanical engineering, maintenance, installation, repair, perform maintenance, installation and repair on mechanical plant and equipment, review and evaluate mechanical engineering, maintenance, installation, repair activities, and communication mechanical maintenance, installation, repair information. And within that assessment overview, we've got that health and safety, planning preparation, systems and components, working with faults, and reviewing and reporting. So again, in that section, we've got a variety of different tasks that the learner needs to complete. So within the specification for this, it's given a code 2, 3 that we discussed previously. Beginning, overview, applications. So now we're just going to look at, so the knowledge section within this is on page 81 onwards. And there's an exemplar on the screen that you can see what's taken directly from this spec. So outcome 1 has got a learning outcome 1.1, and it's called Principles and Techniques for Maintenance and Repair. Within that, we've got a section called the range. And in other words, that section outlines what needs to be delivered and assessed within that topic area. In addition to that, we've then got some questions down below under what do learners need to learn. And that is some questions that has identified what it is to support that delivery of that context in that criteria and the depth that needs to be taught to. So we've got remove and replacing activities, assembly, disassemble techniques, mechanical fixing and fastening. And from that one, why do we remove and replace those components is a question. Yeah. Within those topic areas as well, we've got detailed information regarding that range and what needs to be delivered as part of that topic. So you've got different types of maintenance service strategies. So you've got reactive, conditional-based monitoring, unplanned, emergency post-fault, preventives, and then for prevent and digital skills. So as you can see, an outcome identified on what those type of skills are within the specification. That type of specification is set out exactly as well. So we won't be going into that much detail for the other occupationals. Within the problem, there's practical skills to demonstrate how to gather and evidence recall instructions, maintenance tables, and technical bulletins. So a couple of information in there of what we expect the learners need to demonstrate regarding those practical assessments. And again, same as the previous one, the knowledge one, we're now relating these skills to practical skills. So again, we're still meeting those English, maths, and digital skills contexts as well. This practical skills is going to be exactly the same for across all of the occupational specialisms. We're not going to go in more detail of that, but I have identified on the slides of where it splits into the two different sections as well. So for mechanical, the brief is you are a mechanical maintenance engineer working in a machine workshop of a company that specialises in bespoke items. A manual milling machine is due for its annual service, but it's reported to your supervisor that it's been showing a fault on the longitudinal travel, and you have been tasked to complete the annual service and maintenance activity to that machine. You get a bit of a specification of what needs to be done, what's the faults, and what your task is that you need to plan the service and maintenance activity, perform the service and maintenance activity, including diagnostic, and then review and report the findings of the service and maintenance completed. And that gives the learner the allocated time of 22 hours. So to complete that assignment brief, it's been split into 4 tasks, where task 1 is 5 hours, task 2 is 11 hours, task 3 is 5 hours, and task 4 is an hour. And again, when we're working on supervised conditions, making sure that all the material is kept away and kept security during that break time as well. So the task for this task for mechanical is that they need to plan the service assignment brief, and this is only just snippets of the assignment brief. The candidates will have to create a list of the requirements and resources and justify. They'll also need to justify the types of tools they've used, materials, waste disposal regulations, and any fault diagnosis methods they're going to be using. They need to complete a risk where they're going to do that, perform that service on that and reinstate. And then they're going to record and maintain the activity to include test record sheets and manufactured documentations as well. Once all that's been completed and that practical task, they're going to then review of how they've completed that task. So in other words, on task 3A, they're going to then produce a technical report for the supervisor, what the faults are found, what maintenance activity to do, and what requires attention, any recommendations of waste disposal and recording of stock levels, and then if they found that their maintenance schedule that they identified in task 1 was not sufficient enough, what can be done for future planning and maintenance as well. So that is the 3 current tasks. In task 3B, and what they will need to do is that the schedule enable planned maintenance activity to be performed and recorded over time. What they need to do is then complete that feedback form and then any updates to that part as well. Within that peer review, if they suggested that they don't want to address any information regarding what that peer review has said, they can then identify that in their documentation as well, because that then moves on to the handover. So the handover is a meeting with a supervisor, and then they're going to show how this system is now working correctly without those faults. So demonstrating a system functionality, confirmation of work completed, any amendments to the maintenance schedule, including that peer feedback review, and then submitting all the appropriate handover documentation. Once all that's been completed, then it will be moderated by us at City and Guilds, but it's also going to be marked by yourselves. So to mark the documentation, at the back of the aspiration one, there is a couple of more examples on there, but this is what you will get, task 1 and task 2, and it also identifies the type of evidence that you are expected to see within those tasks. It should include, and you've also got that preparation as well. So within that content, you should be able to see in that learner's work that once you've seen that, you can then start marking the learner's work. So under planning, on section 1 to marks 1 to 3, threshold learner. Other words, a learner at a pass grade. So other words, within that planning documentation, there is limited analysis of some technical documentation relevant to the system use. There's hardly any resources identified, and they've not used the information correctly. For a distinction learner, you're then looking at band between 7 and 9, marks between 7 and 9. And within that band, you can see that the method statement is full. It can be easily followed logically by a third party, and it's got that accurate technical terminology throughout. And then within that resources, it's very comprehensive. So in other words, they justify with full detail of why they should be using that resources. And those type of assessment themes will cover across all different areas within that assessment. Again, if you want to see any of these example materials, then do let us know, as we have got some that we have used for our validation events. But again, you can come to our validation events for GSEMs, for mechanical, or any other occupational specialisms, and input to what you see of the materials before we publish to everyone else. Principle that the learners will need to do. Next, I'm going to talk about common mechanisms and controllers, systems, how to replace and repair parts. So within the sample occupational specialism assignment, so again, the assignment brief is the client has contracted you to supervise and report an offline motor fault on the selected compliant assembly robot arm. As shown, the system is also due to a tooth belt, bidirectional tooth belt as shown by the drive motor in figure 3. The belt rotates via tooth pulley and moves in both directions. And the sealed outer casing provides protection for the drive belt and motor. And again, we've got to do a plan and perform a maintenance and do a report as well. So that is a sample assessment of what a mechatronics assignment would look like. So within the tasks, any fault found, any outstanding fault tasks, and reporting of stock level and waste disposal. And then task 3B, you've got that peer review again on their own, part of the client, and there is no interaction required or permitted as part of the handover. So just a little bit more information regarding that handover meeting in this section as well. So that just gives an overview of what the mechatronics looks like. For electrical and electronics, then 37 onwards. And so for the development of the knowledge, the learner is going to understand the construction and operations of standard power conversion systems, how components are removed and replaced as part of an electrical electronic system, skills and selective use of tools and equipment, and how to do electrical. And again, we've got some related to the maths, English and science, again, digital skills. So the same processes. The next one is going to be control and instrumentation engineering. So same format. So control and instrumentation engineering, their information is on page 37, page 165. and the practice. What needs to be completed? Programming logic control, PLC. The PLC is programmed to maintain and monitor the temperature in the tank according to the set parameters. The PLC is connected remotely to a HMI. The HMI indicates when the temperature is outside the range of 40 to 60 degrees and displays the current operational state of process. And again, they've got to plan, perform, and review. So similar on this one as well, we've got the task 1, task 2, and task 3. So in the same format as the other previous ones. Task by 2 peers, provided the candidate with feedback as well. So you've got that bit of more interactive as well within these tasks. You can find that information on page 37 onwards. Your moments, working with faults and reviewing reporting. 193 onwards. And it's under the title code of 315. So with the light and electric vehicles, we've now got electrical systems, we've got components classifications, we've got operation. So the Exemplar task 2 is split into 3 separate individual tasks. So task 1 is 5 hours, 2A is 4 hours, 2B is 2 hours, 2C is 5 hours, task 3 is 5 hours, and task 4 is 1 hour. The assignment brief is regarding being a vehicle technician and the exhaust is not meeting the manufacturing guidelines, so it needs required a weld and an extension onto the existing exhaust. The second vehicle is the vehicle that the learners will need to work on is a hybrid/electric vehicle. And within the hybrid electric vehicle, the high voltage battery light and malfunction induction light, the MIL, are both illuminated. And we've got some unusual vibration is noted when traveling at speeds between 50 and 60 miles per hour. So the learners will need to plan the service for both vehicles and the maintenance for both vehicles, perform the service and maintenance, including diagnostic and fault on both vehicles, and then review and report findings and service of the maintenance complete. A little box that says each task should, and this is taken from the assessor's pack. So for vehicle 1, the faults are a brake run out in excess of the manufacturer specification, and for the illuminated light, it's an open circuit lambda sensor. For vehicle 2, the high voltage battery light and ML isolator switch. So in other words, the prongs have corroded, so they're no longer making contact. And for vehicle 2, the vibration notice is that the tyres are you need to set up in your centre to making sure that those meet requirements. And they are in a bit more detail within the assignment pack for the assessors. The service, maintain and waste disposal activity. So 2B, this is a joining activity. So in future series, you may see it by welding, you might see it by bonding, or you might see it by fastening. But in this exemplar, we're going to do it via welding. So what they need to do is need to weld an exhaust pipe extender with dimensions. So they need to prepare an exhaust pipe, complete the weld requirement, use appropriate tools and equipment, reinstate the work area and complete the job card. Note on this welding activity, they do not need to be making sure they're welding to British standards or welding standards. It's just a practical activity task within this section. Maintenance installation. So you've got our websites, you've got network base, or even via telephone conversations. Web page, you've got a timeline. So in other words, a 12-month countdown timeline to delivering this T level. We've got some provider focus groups coming up. So if you want to come and join those, and please let us know. And that's where we're looking at the guided sample assessment materials. We've got Employee Industry Board, that's coming up as well. So if you're interested in that, you want to put your employees on that, then do get in touch. The e-bulletin that's just been released, specifications that we've just gone through today. We've got for recruitment, we've got our learner flyer regarding engineering manufacturing T levels. And then we've got myself as your technical advisor dedicated to this T level to help and support you through your development. We've also got coming up soon is some more webinars. So tomorrow we are doing the Manufacturing Process Control Occupational Specialism, and that is at 2 o'clock, and you can click on that link there to register. Any of our webinars that we do deliver, we've got our new dedicated Engineering Go-To webinar channel, and that's going to talk about, that doesn't just cover T level, it covers endpoint assessment, apprenticeship qualifications, support other areas as well. So you can click on that link and go to our dedicated channel. Any previous events that we've done, such as slide decks and copies of webinar presentations, if you click on that link, what says here, you can find all the latest events that we've done. The next couple of webinars are talking about resource development and curriculum planning. And then we're looking to regarding exams, open to do some face-to-face events. And again, if you want myself to come to your centre and deliver face-to-face to your staff, then do let us know. That can be arranged. I've also got coming up in February onwards, we've got a T-level expert question session. So those dates will be released as well on our website. So support providers in those approvals, we are hosting some webinars. Registration is on down in that link there. So the first webinar is going to be on the 4th of February. And that's going to just give us an overview of how to get that prior approval and what's the process to deliver a T level with us. And then from there, we've got the preparing for the approval activities and looking at introducing our TQAs. And that is on the Monday, the 1st of March at between 10 and 12. And you can register there for engineering or for other pathways such as management administration. We've got one in the afternoon as well. So we've got some different events happening. Again, we've got, click on these links here. You can see our approval timeline, where you can find all the information regarding resources, so such as curriculum planning, such as leaflets, specifications, etc. And also the guidelines as well. In addition to that, we've also got our website to support you and providers. These are being updated weekly. So you can see what they are updated as well. But again, click on those links there and you're related to what they are happening. And one thing to look at is the T-level transition program for delivery for 22-23 and what's expected regarding for a transition program for engineering and manufacturing. I'm now just going to pass over to my colleague Duncan, who's just going to talk about the associate vacancies we have. Duncan, over to you.
Thanks, Sam. Much appreciated. Just a very quick shout out really to everybody, and with moderation, endpoint assessment, EQA, all of those things, for opportunities where you can come and work as an associate with City and Guilds. So it works alongside the roles. It gives you that really good opportunity to sort of get the inside view, inside looking out as to what's happening, and certainly a lot of people say it's very beneficial having independent endpoint assessors, T-levels, moderators, EQAs. So either Sam or myself, if you're interested, training at the for our TQA roles, and especially have a need for engineering. So anybody that's interested, or you know anybody that's interested, please do promote that opportunity to them. Thanks, Sam, for the opportunity. Just have a couple of minutes. Thanks.
No problem. That all like to get people involved in that, and again, it's really looking at the content as well and seeing how this T level is going to be developed in further as well. So it's really click on those links again on your PowerPoint presentation that's attached in the handouts, and you can go directly to our website. One last part before we go for any questions and answers. Hod of Education is actually regarding the T level for £11 per year, and engineering manufacturing, especially around the core. If you want to see any information regarding that, then do contact Gemma Simpson at Hod of Education, and you can be able to receive an advance. You've got a range of learning assessment features to actually variety of different case studies using how to, excuse me, and then
there's only 2 questions which are about the PowerPoints and webinars.
Do stay on the line and we can talk to you. Or if you want to talk to us, then do ask. We can put you on microphone, not a problem. We like to make this more interactive. But all I can say is thank you for joining us. Hope to see you on the next webinar, which is tomorrow actually, for manufacturing process control. And if you need any further information, then do get in touch. And thank you for joining us. Thank you.